Yeah, of course. My expense like 4 digit, but my expenses in a month exceed more than what I get.
Maybe there are a lot of areas that you can cut, but this seems to me like an income issue because there's a limit to how much you can cut down on expenses. There's a limit to how much money you can save, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. That's why I always try and focus on growing my income lah. Whenever I think about these things, right, like should I do it or not, I always weigh the pros and cons. If I do it, like the upside is maybe I do very well and I become successful. The downside is no one clicks my link. Too bad lah. Like I don't lose anything kan. Like I just lose a bit of time. Hello guys, my name is Emir. I'm here to talk about all things money, and today I have Shazwan with me.
Hello, hi.
How are you, Shazwan? All good?
I know, good, fine.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about today? What
Yes.
about money do we want to talk about?
So let me like briefly explain my problem.
Okay.
I'm 35 years old this year. Father to like one daughter.
Okay.
I have 2 cars, 2 house at the moment.
Okay.
My salary, I can say like my expenses.
Yeah, of course.
My expense like 4 digit
Okay.
per month. Is not like 5 yet.
Okay.
4 digit. But my, what I call it, my expenses in a month exceed more than what I get.
Earn.
It's more like 10,000
Okay.
per month.
As in exceeds by 10,000 a month, or your expenses is 10,000?
I spend 10,000 per month.
Okay.
So meaning that I short like 3K per month.
Okay.
So besides that, I do have like financial knowledge about the investing.
Okay,
And all that. So I
that's good.
put some of my money into ASB, tabung haji, and I also like use some of the investment like Wahid
Okay.
before. But when I start short the money, right? So I keep on use all this
Withdraw
and-
from your savings to pay
so
lah.
meaning that I don't have any saving. So is there any way that I can reduce this thing?
Okay. So your expenses exceeding your income, is that a recent thing or cannot be all this while kan? Because
I know,
before this you had extra cash to invest and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a recent.
Is it like 1 year before?
Is it like something
Maybe
happened?
after I got my daughter.
Yeah. Kids are expensive, right? I
Yeah.
heard lah. I don't have a kid. Not yet. Yeah. Are you a dual income household or are you?
Yeah, my wife is also working.
Okay. But still combined income is still exceeding your expenses lah.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
But for me, I don't like to use my wife money.
Okay.
I like to use my own money.
Okay.
Even my wife like try to
Support a bit.
like,
Yeah.
use
You prefer to do it on your own lah.
my own money. But
Okay.
still it's short.
Okay. So right now you're using your savings lah to top up the balance.
Yeah, correct. I can say that maybe like after 25, every month,
Yep.
start on the new next fund, I will start short.
Okay.
Instead to
I see.
withdraw
Then you
some-
withdraw again lah.
Withdraw again.
I see. Do you have any like loans? Do you have to take out any loans to?
I do have credit card.
Okay.
But
Are you overdue or anything, or you
I just
everything
pay
is paying on time lah? Okay. I think your situation is quite okay lah. Still, at least you're not like taking on loans to try and
But
cover the gap
I
lah.
feel like drowning.
I say, yeah. I think a lot of people experience this lah, and unfortunately, to me, there's different stages to personal finance and achieving financial independence, right? Where the end goal is we hit financial independence and then we can enjoy and celebrate everything, right? But to me, the first stage of personal finance is your income has to exceed your expenses lah, which seems like where you're struggling a bit now.
Yeah,
And
correct.
so to me, the first thing that I always tell people, and I did this myself as well when I just started out working, was to know exactly where your expenses are. So do you know roughly, how much you're spending each month? Or I mean, like let's say 500 ringgit for groceries, 200 ringgit on my kid. Do you know the exact breakdown of that?
Yeah, I do have the breakdown for
So you
that.
track your expenses every
Yeah, I
month?
track my expenses every month.
Yeah, I think
but
that's-
still I'm not sure why
I
I'm
see.
still short on that.
And the biggest part of your expenses these days is
I can say house,
house. Okay.
because one is currently I'm renting,
Okay.
and then at the same time I just buy new house.
Okay.
It's still under developing, so now I just pay what we call it, the
Progressive interest. I think one thing that I try not to be too tight towards what I really don't like when it comes to my expenses is I don't like commitments.
Correct.
When it comes to relationships, then yeah, I'll commit lah. But when it comes to money, then I would rather not have commitments. That's like something I really hate. Right, so unfortunately in scenarios like this, you just have to find somewhere to cut, right? So for example, now you say you have 2 cars. So I assume one is for you, one is for your wife lah.
Yep.
Right. So this is a very difficult situation, but I have seen people, for example, either downgrading their cars or let's say the husband moves to something like a motorbike, right? It's a situation that we don't really want to be in if possible. But sometimes when we're left with no choice, we just have to cut down on these big commitments.
I mean, like downgrading the car.
Yeah.
Just
For example,
much cheaper car.
cheaper car.
But I just brought a new car.
Oh, you just bought a new car. So what's your car?
Okay, my previous car, I use my V.
Okay.
But when I have kids,
Okay.
I feel like it's very sempit, you know.
I see.
So I have to like upgrade the new car.
Okay, so what do you have now?
Now I use Vios.
Okay. And then your other car is?
My other car is just Proton Saga.
Okay. Are you paying monthly payments for
Not
both?
for the luckily the Proton Saga I just
done lah.
finished already, done already.
Okay.
Now I just pay for the Vios.
Yours lah, yeah. Again, understandable that people like to buy bigger cars. Just when I have a kid, I want to make sure that it's safe, right? Like the brand is good, it can tahan if anything were to happen. It's understandable, but again, like I said, income exceeding expenses is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. So I don't know if you can or if you're considering this, but if you're really struggling, I would downgrade the Vios to something else, right? That's one option. So I don't know the full breakdown of your cost lah, but what I did last time was I track all my expenses every month, so I know every single ringgit that I spend, where it's going, right? I know where it's going, and then you have to cut other areas. So if you want to keep the car, you have to cut other areas lah. So for example, me, I found out there are a lot of subscriptions. You buy like Spotify,
Correct.
Netflix, then now Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, there's even like HBO Max, and then like every time I subscribe to something, I'm like 20 ringgit a month, no problem lah, right?
Yeah.
But you start getting more and more, suddenly you have like 6-7 subscriptions and it's like 200 ringgit a month. So I noticed that and I cut lah. The one that I didn't use, I cut. So maybe I say, okay lah, this month I'll just stick to Netflix. That's the only one I'm going to keep. So those are some areas that you can look at as well. Since you know all your expenses, I think that's very good. And then as a family, I guess you can start looking at, I don't know what you're doing now, but let's say cooking rather than eating out, stuff like that. Yeah, this one will really depend on your current breakdown of expenses and then finding areas that you can cut at lah. Yeah. The easy ones to say are always house and car because those are the most expensive ones. But if you cannot cut that, then you have to look at other areas lah. Like let's say insurance. Do you have any insurance?
Yeah, I do have my family insurance. I can say my total for my family insurance is about 500.
Okay, yeah. Ideal scenario is we have insurance, but if your income exceeds your expense, I would not pay that much for insurance.
What about the risk after that? If I cut the insurance, does it impact my, I don't know, something happen in futures?
So the risk is, one, let's say if you want to restart insurance in the future, it might be more expensive. That's one potential risk.
That's why.
The second risk is obvious lah. If you stop your insurance, anything were to happen to you, you cannot get, let's say, you won't be insured lah. But again, public healthcare in Malaysia is quite good. So there's always the option lah. There's always the option. Again, it's not ideal, but
it's an option.
Yeah. At this point, when your expenses exceed your income, you just have to focus like 100% on making sure that expenses come down lah, right? Or another option is to increase your income lah. Increasing your income is another way. Yeah, I think a lot of people are, personally for me, I found that trying to increase my income was easier than cutting my expenses lah.
Yeah.
Not because I cannot cut my expenses, but I just like to eat out. I just like Spotify, YouTube Premium and all those. So obviously I can cut my expenses lah if I really need to. But I find that increasing income is easier. So for me, when I look at my expenses and stuff, I was thinking, where can I cut 1,000 ringgit a month, right? I feel very hard, very difficult. Correct. I'm sure it's difficult for you.
Yeah,
If it's easy by now,
even
right?
500 also I feel.
Exactly. 500 ringgit a month feels very difficult, right?
Very difficult.
But when I look at it in the standpoint of, can I earn an extra 500 ringgit a month? To me, it's a lot easier lah. So there is a lot of things that people do these days. Affiliate marketing, even driving for Grab, in Malaysia. There are a lot of like areas where you can exploit on your free time to get that extra income. If let's say you cannot cut. So the cons for this is, of course, you're sacrificing time lah.
Yeah.
At night, you have to work. Weekends, you have to work. But at the end of the day, I think it all comes down to sacrifices lah. If you haven't started in the world of like making extra income aside from your main job, right, you will feel like it's very difficult, like it's impossible. But trust me, these days, there are so many things you can do. You can do things for zero capital upfront, right? Like for me, I started creating content. And I've seen a lot of people on TikTok. Have you seen those like, do you use TikTok?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Have you seen those like back kuning?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You can do those things. And there's, very low capital. It's pure upside. There's no risk to it, right? There's no cost or anything. They just keep doing that. Okay, so funny story. I had this cleaner lah. They used to come to my place once a week to clean my house. Indonesian, and I really like her. After 3 months, she told me, "Sorry, bang, cannot continue lah. TikTok doing very well."
Okay.
Yeah. So there are a lot of opportunities lah. Aside from cutting down your expenses, because honestly, to me, looking at your current situation now, again, I don't know the full breakdown of your expenses.
Yeah.
Maybe there are a lot of areas that you can cut, but this seems to me like an income issue. Yeah. And to me, personal finance, income is number one. Income is the most important part because there's a limit to how much you can cut down on expenses. There's a limit to how much money you can save, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. Yeah, that's why I always try and focus on growing my income lah. Whether it is from side gigs, like I said, content creation at first, Grab driver maybe a bit, trying Shopee, starting a business could be also, but it's a bit risky maybe. Or final option is, if it comes to it, then maybe consider moving jobs, right? I know a lot of people who after moving jobs, they got quite big promotions, 20-30% up their income. Yeah, these are all things that you can and you should consider lah, to try and like push that income a bit higher. Otherwise, maybe see if your kid can do commercials lah, and then monetize. Yeah.
If I can try lah.
Yeah.
But when you said about the increase the income, is there any like low risk option that I can use for this one?
Yeah, so I think affiliate marketing is probably one of the lowest risks out there, because affiliate marketing, you know how it works, kan? Like I promote someone
Is
else's
it like
product.
share link,
Exactly.
click link here to get that?
Correct. Yeah.
Is it still relevant right now?
Yeah. Very. Yeah, I've seen people use it on Twitter, on TikTok.
But me personally, I don't click any link.
Oh,
Yeah lah.
that's what I thought also. But then when I started creating content, a lot of people click on links.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people live in their bubble that they think because I don't do this, nobody does this as well. But actually, a lot of people do this.
For this affiliate, right? Do I need to like pay something?
No.
No.
Yeah. So how it works is, when I figured out about it, it's either a product that you already have. So let's say you have these shoes, and you're like, I like these shoes lah. If you guys want to buy it, just click on this back kuning and it leads to the store that you bought the
This
shoes
one
from.
is the TikTok, right?
Yeah, example lah. But like Shopee also you can do it on Twitter and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, those are examples. Or there are also examples on TikTok where you can request a product sample from the brand.
For free.
Yeah, they will give it to you for free, but then they ask you to make the video lah.
I see.
Yeah. So there are a lot of these things. Maybe for some people, content creation is not their thing. Obviously, not everyone wants to speak in front of camera, kan?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of other things as well. Depends on your passion.
I love to explore the content creation lah.
Yeah.
But I believe that people not click my link if I share to anywhere lah.
I think whenever I think about these things, right, like should I do it or not, I always weigh the pros and cons. So the pros, if I do it, like the upside is maybe I do very well and I become successful. The downside is no one clicks my link. Too bad lah. Like I don't lose anything, kan? Like I just lose a bit of time. But it's worth the risk lah. It's worth the risk to take it.
So every link that people click will give you percent.
Exactly, a percentage of the sales. So these are really opportunities lah. I've heard people make, like, from their passion. I've heard someone who his passion is doing magic tricks. He opened a class
For magic.
for magic. He thought no one would sign up, but you know the power of social media these days, the thing can really go out. You know, for this thing, if you have 10 people sign up, 100 ringgit per person, that's still 1,000 ringgit, right? So it really depends on your passion. It doesn't have to be one size fits all. Everyone has to be like me, become a content creator, you know? It really, you just need to figure out what do you like to do and then go from there lah.
Should I cut my expense for monthly? I don't know.
If you can, for sure. Trying to reduce your expenses as much as possible to the point that your income can exceed it again, and then you can start building your savings up again that you've been withdrawing, kan? You want to start getting that income above your expenses. So I would say try both lah. Try cutting a bit of expenses here. Try increasing your income a
But
bit.
I don't know where to cut at the moment though.
I think this one will really depend on your expenses breakdown lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which obviously I don't know of.
I mean, just briefly, just now I said about the house,
Yep, 2,000.
cars, internet,
Yep.
mobile
Phone bill.
subscription, the iPhone,
Yeah,
the lifestyle,
Yeah.
food, I can say it.
Yeah.
When just now you said, why not cook rather than buy lah?
Yep.
I did before, but I found that when
more
you
expensive.
cook is much more
Expensive.
expensive
Yeah,
as compared when you buy lah. Because I just live,
family. A small family, it can be more expensive, right?
yeah.
Yep. So your expenses, you say you have a house, car, food, phone bills, internet. Yeah. And then this again depends on how much you're paying lah, right? If your current phone bill is 100 ringgit, probably too much. Reduce it to 40 ringgit. A lot of cheaper plans, prepaid, right? iPhone, again, that's why I hate commitments. I don't want to like be stuck paying something for 2 years. Even though like I think I can afford it, I would rather not have it lah. Yeah, so these are
And
things.
before I was thinking about the commitment, but I feel like this thing more like responsibilities.
Sorry?
Responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not commitment lah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that a lot of
Also,
people
at one
stuck.
point, I was thinking about to use the personal loan to top up everything that I short.
Yeah. Personal loan is something that I really don't like lah. I think it's one of my least favorite financial products because the interest is very high and a lot of people get stuck in that debt and then it starts to snowball. So if we look at AKPK, which is the bankruptcy agency in Malaysia, the highest reason for bankruptcy filings in Malaysia is because of personal loans.
Personal loan.
Yeah, that is the highest. I think followed by mortgage and then car. When you get all these three things, which is why we don't want it or I don't prefer it. But another thing about personal loans is it will solve your problem now, but it still doesn't solve the foundations, which is your expenses is higher than your income, right? Personal loan will not magically solve that. It's just an additional thing that you need to pay. So, my opinion, maybe I'm speaking from a place of privilege. I would never take personal loans, but I guess maybe if you're in a really dire situation and you have no choice, then maybe lah. But as best as I can, I would avoid it lah.
Does credit card consider personal loan?
Even worse.
Even worse.
Even worse than personal loan. Yeah. So personal loans, generally speaking, the effective interest rate is around 8%. Credit card effective interest rate is 18% a year, which is higher than any investment out there. So if you have credit card debt, if you're paying minimum amount, if you're not paying the full amount, that is number one priority. Pay your credit card. Yeah. I would say if you cannot pay Unify or you cannot pay credit card, I would pay credit card and terminate the Unify. Yeah.
Understand.
That's my opinion on it.
Okay. I mean, I can consider all the points just now.
Yep. I think in general, if any one of you guys are suffering with this thing, which I think is very common, right? One is look to cut down your expenses. A lot of people, they don't seem to realize that, commitments can stack up, subscriptions can stack up, and there are a lot of areas for you to cut. And then another way, like I said, consider looking for avenues to up your income. I think these are the two things that can be done, but getting your expenses below your income, that's number one priority for me. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
I just found out that I can use my KWS Fitted account to take out the money there. Do you think that's a good option for me?
Again, if you don't have a choice, I would take it. I think it's a very good option from the government to let us dip into that. But you need to remember that any money you take now is you taking away from your future. Right? And same point as personal loan. It doesn't solve the main problem. You have to solve the root of the problem, which is expenses higher than income. Yep. So one has to go down, one has to go up lah. I think that is basically everything in a nutshell. There are things you can do to bandage over it. Take personal loan, credit card, withdraw from EPF, but those are just plasters that you're putting onto a wound that you need to solve lah. Yeah.
Alright, good.
Right?
Yeah, good.
Nice talking to you, Shazwan.
Thank you.
Hope you guys learned something from this. See you guys in the next one.